Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Riverwalk Talk. My name is Chip Harrington. Today is going to be another very unique show in that I'm not really going to be on the Riverwalk. I'm going to be sitting down talking to an individual. That person, his name is Abraham Rodstein, and he just celebrated his 97th birthday. His story is quite unique in a very sad but also inspiring way. He is a Holocaust survivor, and he lives locally, and I've reached out to a friend of his to see if he'd be willing to chat with me a little bit about the experience that he and his family went through. So, like I said, it's a very historic discussion and quite sad and interesting. So I hope you enjoy it, but this is Mr. Abraham Rodstein. Okay, we're back. So as I mentioned at the top of the show there, I'm going to be talking to Mr. Abraham Rodstein today. And welcome to my little Riverwalk. I actually call this Riverwalk Talk.
Yeah.
I know you walk the Riverwalk on a regular basis with some of your friends.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, I first met you on the Riverwalk.
Oh,
you were sitting at the bench back there. So happy birthday. I know you just recently had a birthday.
Thank you.
97 years old. Were you allowed to say the number?
Yes.
Okay. 97 years old. So I know you've done a lot of these interviews before, and I really appreciate you doing this with me.
Yes, I got quite a few at Pope Francis.
Yeah.
I think 6. Yeah. And I got some in the libraries,
Yeah.
in the senior centers. I went once to Springfield to the Reformed Jewish Temple.
Okay.
That's about it.
Well, and the National Holocaust Museum. I know that you did a recording there in 1997.
Yes. I gave several. One of them was they came actually to the house.
Okay.
With the whole paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, no, it was pretty impressive. In fact, I'm going to have a link down below to that interview if somebody wants to watch the full, because I think it's almost like a 2-hour-long interview.
What year was that?
In 1997, you did that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. I know, right? So, I mean, you're a Holocaust survivor. There are not many people, sadly, that can say that.
There's not many people who can say it, and there's not too many people who lived long enough to say it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, I don't want to go all the way back to the beginning, but I know you grew up in that part of the world. Was it Lithuania?
Yes.
You grew up in Lithuania over there. Were you consciously aware, I'm sure at the time, what was taking place in Germany with Hitler? Was that well known?
You have to understand. I was born in 1928. We had no problems till 1940. Mm-hmm. I was still a kid, so I wasn't that aware.
Yeah.
But when Germany invaded Poland, a lot of Polish people came to Lithuania to try to escape Hitler, and we weren't so nice to them.
Oh, okay. Interesting, yeah. So you're around, what, 12 years old at this time?
That's right.
When this is, in 1940, you're around 12 years old.
I was 12 years old.
So when you were in Lithuania, you had a certain lifestyle, you and your parents. Is it just you and your parents? Did you have siblings or anything? Any brothers or sisters?
I never had any siblings.
Okay. So it was you and your parents. You guys had a certain lifestyle, it sounds like. You had a pretty good life.
Well, my father was very affluent. We had a bakery, a cafe, and my father had 2 movie theaters.
Oh, okay.
So I really was affluent.
Yeah. So there comes a point right around 1940, right, where now you guys need to, I think, move to a different area.
Actually, what happened is the Soviets moved into Lithuania in 1940. And for some reason, because my father was a decent boss, they didn't send him to Siberia, but they took the business away.
Okay.
And they made him manager of his business. And that was in 1940. And that's when the Russians took over, the Soviets. One day, my father's brother shows up from the Soviet Union. He was a photojournalist for the Russian army newspaper.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he said to my father, if you don't leave that town, Šiauliai, which is the other town in Lithuania,
Yeah.
they'll send you to Siberia. So we moved to Kaunas.
Okay.
That was the capital of Lithuania at that time.
Okay.
And that was because what happened is, if my father had a cousin over there, and if we wouldn't have moved it, they would have put in a Russian soldier in her apartment.
Okay.
Not for security or anything, but they needed living space for these people.
For housing. So you were crushed between Nazi Germany and communist Russia in Lithuania.
Yes, but at that time there was only communist Russia. And I wound up in Kaunas. It was a beautiful house. They were very rich people, and because we moved in there, they could stay there. Otherwise, either they would have moved out because some hierarchy Russian officer wanted that house, or they would have just put somebody in.
Yeah.
And what happened is, every summer we used to go on the Baltic Sea to a resort called Palanga, and stayed in a fancy pension and all that stuff. And then the Russians came, I became a Red Pioneer, which is similar to the Boy Scouts. Okay. So I wore the white shirt, the red tie, the whole business. And what happened is, there was a summer camp, and they sent us to the summer camp in Palanga. I didn't like it, because I had to sleep on a cot, and I faked an appendicitis attack. They took me to the infirmary, and it so happens that the doctor who looked at me was a friend of my father's, and he knew exactly what I wanted. So they sent me back to Kaunas. The war with Germany started about a week or two later. Most of the Jewish kids got killed. And they got killed not by the Germans. They got killed by the people who were their friends before.
Oh, wow. Wow. So had you not had the forethought...
If I would have been a spoiled kid and not liked this place,
yeah,
I wouldn't have been talking to you.
Right. Wow. So you're 12 years old, right? 12, 13 years old around this time.
No, at that time I was... Yeah,
it was in 1940, right around 12 or 13 years old. So, I mean, you have such an amazing recall. Your memory is amazing.
My son says old recalls easy, new recalls different.
True, good point.
And he's a brain and spine doctor.
Okay, so the stuff from 1940 you remember.
That's easy.
You don't remember what you had for breakfast, though.
I can talk languages which I spoke in those days.
How many languages did you speak?
Russian, German, Lithuanian, Yiddish, and Hebrew.
Wow, 5 languages. Can you still?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm friendly with a German lady, and she said my German is better than hers.
Oh, wow. So going back to kind of the sequence of everything, are you now becoming, even as a young person, you're becoming like, the world is a different place now. Things are changing rapidly, from 12 to 13. What was the next step? Like, how did you progress?
Well, actually, what happened is the war ended in 45, and I was liberated by the 7th Army, American 7th Army. And when we got well enough, we had a choice of staying in Germany or going to the US or Canada or Australia. And by the way, to digress, prior to that, America had a Jewish organization called ORT, O-R-T, and that was an organization which created trade schools all over the places. So I joined one of the trade schools and I learned electronics.
Okay.
And the reason I joined it because you couldn't buy a radio in Germany after the war. It just didn't exist. And when you got in that school, we got tremendous amount of German tubes.
Okay.
And we learned how to make a radio using old tubes. I even made my own speaker.
Okay.
And when I got out of there, they said, now you have to go to college. So I went to Munich, and I did all the entrance tests to get into engineering school, which I did. And what really happened is, in the ghetto, there was a math teacher, and he says to me, let me teach you math. If you survive the war, you can use it. If you don't survive, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So I get out of the concentration camp, and I could do partial differential equations, which is
A high level of math.
Second and third year college.
Right. So are you okay talking about the concentration camps times?
Yes. Look, I never hid it from anybody because I don't consider myself a victim. I consider myself a survivor. Mm-hmm. Okay, I was there. I'm not there anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm in safety. I'm not there anymore.
Right.
Because during the war, you never knew from minute to minute whether you'll be alive or not.
Yeah, I can't imagine the psychological stress that you and your family were experiencing during that.
Well, everybody had that stress. But apparently, if stress like that happens to a whole group of people, it doesn't affect you as much as it happens to you. Like during the Depression, people threw themselves out to the windows, and all it was is mud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which concentration camp were you at? Were you at multiple or just one?
No, actually, first we were in the Kovno ghetto. It was a big ghetto. Then yesterday was an anniversary, like they call it the big action, where they really killed 9,000 people. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, the Kovno ghetto had two parts with a connecting bridge. And after that day, they didn't need a connecting bridge because all those people were dead already.
Oh my God. My God. So do you have, I'm sure you have an amazing memory, when you first stepped into those doors or whatever it was behind those walls, do you remember looking around and just wondering?
Well, the ghetto was like that. When the Germans moved in, they assigned one of the part of town to the ghetto, and we actually traded houses with the people who lived there.
Okay.
It was like trading the Plaza Hotel for a flyback, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you talked about the liberation, when the Americans came in and liberated. What was that?
The liberation, April 29, 1945, Americans came in. And I didn't know the carnage. Actually, we were in a annexed camp in Landsberg. Landsberg was the same place where Hitler was imprisoned and he wrote Mein Kampf. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the only reason they took us to Dachau was to kill us. But the Seventh Army came a day ahead.
Wow.
So
wow.
I'm here. I didn't
yeah,
kill them.
The timing. How many different camps did you and you're with your parents this whole time, right? Are you
my mother was peeled off in a place called Stutthof.
Oh, okay.
Because what happened is when the Russians started to get closer, the Germans evacuated us to Germany, and they peeled off my mother in Stutthof. Mm-hmm. Stutthof, I found out, I didn't know, was a horrible place. And it was, part Germany, part Poland. It was one of those places over there. Mm-hmm. And my mother was on a death march, and she and three of her friends walked off. They figured if they get killed, they get killed. And they walked into a farmhouse, and the farmhouse, the lady was very religious, and she says that Jesus is testing her. And she hid the 3 or 4 women. And then when the Russians came, my mother continued going with them.
Okay.
And my only regret is that I don't know exactly where it was, and my mother didn't know where it was.
Okay.
It was the middle of the road, and then she just continued with the Russian army, and she wound up in Poland, in Lodz.
Wow. Wow. That's remarkable. That's amazing.
And Poland, in Lodz, she wound up working as a secretary in a Russian military hospital. Mm-hmm. They had to pick her up and bring her home because the anti-Semitism in Poland after the war was very rampant. Mm-hmm. So it was even dangerous. After the war, they managed to have anti-Semitism without Jews.
Amazing. So are you with your dad the whole time?
I never was separated from my dad.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, after we were liberated, my father contracted typhoid fever on this trip from Landsberg to Dachau. Mm-hmm. And luckily, when the liberation took place, he wound up in an American hospital, so they took good care of him.
Wow.
And when he got well, we had the choice of staying in Germany, going someplace else. So we decided, like fools, to go back to Lithuania. Mm-hmm. And we wound up, from all places, in a very circuitous route. First, we wound up, the American had one responsibility, take us to the Russian zone. So they took us to the Russian zone in Austria. And we wound up over there for a very short time. And then we decided to go, and we wound up from all places in Hungary. Mm-hmm. We wound up it was a camp, but it was open. You could go in and out. Mm-hmm. And the minute we encountered the Russians, we said we made a terrible mistake, and we have to somehow extricate ourselves from them. Wow. And then I found out that about 15 kilometers or 10 miles or whatever it was, a organization which facilitated the illegal immigration to then Palestine.
Oh.
That before it was Israel.
Yeah.
So I actually walked. It was the summer, it was a nice day. And I walked over there, and I met people that say, we know who you are. You're such and such a person. Because he says, we're from the same town you are, and we went to Palestine before the war, and they came here to recruit people to go to Israel. They say, okay, you're not a Russian, you're not a Lithuanian, you're Greek.
Okay.
So because the Russians have no jurisdiction over Greeks.
Right.
And they gave me a piece of paper with Greek, America.
Yeah. Wow.
And I knew the Greek alphabet from the mat.
Oh, okay.
So I knew the alphabet, so it was very easy for me.
Yeah. Wow. You've had these series of events in your life, going back to when you faked your own appendectomy. You know, when you said when you were in that camp, you wanted to get out.
Yes.
From there to these series. When did you get reunited with your mother at some point?
Yes, in October 45.
Okay.
I was walking in Graz, Austria, and somebody says, your mother's in Bratislava, Czechoslovakia, and she's not going to Lithuania before she knows what happened to you. She was smarter than we were. And eventually, we reunited in Landsberg, in a DP camp in Landsberg, about this time in the fall of
What was that like? Because at the time, you probably didn't know if she had survived or where she was. Had you had any communication with your mother?
I didn't pay my cell phone.
You didn't have your cell phone at the time? If only, right? If only it was like that. So, but what was that like, when you guys got reunited? How did you must have been overwhelmed with emotion.
Of course.
Yeah. And your father was with you at this time too. I mean, there are probably not many families where a mother, a father, and a son
reunited.
Yeah.
My friend Tom Sloviak did a lot of interviews with me, and he did research, and he did not find another single family where the whole family was reunited after the war. And he did research from the Holocaust Museum and you name it. And he says he never found anybody.
Wow, that's remarkable.
And he knows how to do research. He writes. I don't know if you ever met him.
I don't think I have met Tom. No, I don't think I have. I met some other people. So how many total years were you and your family in the concentration camps? Was it 3-4 years?
Yeah, that was about 4 years.
Wow. So you get reunited with your mom. You're at this time, where are you again right now?
That was in Landsberg, Germany.
Okay, you're in Germany. Eventually because you mentioned before that you could come to the United States, you can go to Canada, maybe Britain or something like that. How did you end up here in Western Massachusetts?
Our Western Massachusetts is very simple. My son is a physician in Bay State.
Okay.
So the last connection I had with Roz, when Roz was very sick and she was in hospice, her daughter called my son, and she said, you better do something, because I didn't do too well after she died.
I see, I understand.
And they called me, they said, maybe you should move to Massachusetts.
Okay. So but after the war, when do you get yourself over to the United States, and where you were in New York City at the time?
Yeah, I lived most of the time I was in the United States on Long Island. I worked for Grumman and Republic, all the defense places. And then I worked for a place called Mercantile Linotype. They had the biggest font library in the world.
Okay.
So I built a machine to convert film to digital.
Okay. So you're part of this generation that we're all staring at cell phones right now. It's partly you're part of that.
Well, I had a lot to do with the fonts.
Okay. So, but you became an engineer, you said, right, through your trade. So you obviously have this gift for math. You will probably always have.
Yes, that I did.
Yeah. So you have this gift, so you become an engineer. Was that immediate, or when you came to America?
No, I went to the German engineering school.
Oh, it was in Germany. Okay.
I never went to school here.
Oh, okay. Okay. How old were you when you came to America?
21.
Okay. Still pretty young.
Yes.
I mean, you had lived 3 lives at that point, essentially. Yes. You have done so much. Did you have to get sponsored to get here, or how did that work?
There was a Displaced Persons Act. So nobody had to sponsor, nobody had to guarantee for me. We just came to America on the Displaced Persons Act.
Okay. You and your parents, you both?
My parents, yeah.
Okay. And what was how was your mental state? How was your emotional being at this time? I mean, you've been through literally hell and back at this point.
Well, when I knew that I'm coming to America, then I studied New York map, I knew the subways, I didn't have to ask anybody.
Okay.
Any questions. My mother, when she found out she was going to America, learned English. So she came here, and she was good in English. My father never learned really English.
Okay. Yeah. Did they work when they got here? They must have been in their 40s or so?
Yes, they worked.
Okay. But like you said, their mental well-being, their mental health at that point. I mean, like you said, you've been through so much. Did you just kind of compartmentalize things? It's like,
I adjusted much easier because all the jobs I had to learn English. My interaction was industrially with American people, and my parents didn't do so well in adjustment.
Yeah, well, and they were probably in their 40s when they came over here at that point. So let's go. I want to learn a little bit more about your your life when you came over here? So you come over here, you start working for, you said, a defense contractor?
Well, I couldn't get, the first 5 years I worked in the private industry because I needed a clearance. And I couldn't get a clearance before I became a citizen. And I became a citizen 5 years to the day practically.
Okay.
And then I applied for jobs, I always got them. I had a security clearance.
And you worked on those fonts. What other kind of engineering
No,
work did you
that
do?
was private industry. That was way after. I worked for Grumman. I worked on the F-111 fighter plane. I worked in Republic. I worked in all this.
Yeah.
On Long Island was a big industry of defense.
The defense industry. How many years did you live in the New York area for?
In Long Island?
Yeah.
I moved into Long Island, the New York area. When I came to America, I lived in the New York area till I came here.
Oh, okay. And you've been here for how long?
4.5 years.
4.5 years. Okay. And so you said your son is here. He's a physician at Bay State.
Yeah.
You mentioned that over there. So is that your only son? Do you have any other children?
I have 2 daughters. One lives in Albany, and one lives in D.C.
Okay. So you're 97 years old now. When you look back on your life and how much you've been through, are there times that do you have any kind of post-traumatic? Do you deal with anything, the things that you've seen, you've heard, you've dealt with?
I have seen, I dealt, but I'm not there. And maybe because we were reunited as a family, that helped.
Yeah. How about extended family? People, the cousins or anything?
My mother's sister was killed in Stutthof. My uncle, her husband, survived, and he was first in Landsberg, and then he went to Israel, and he became the head of the Israeli British Citrus Syndicate. He was one of those geniuses who could multiply 2 6-digit numbers in his head and write out the answer. And she had a son. They killed him.
Yeah, so your family has certainly been affected. Have you ever been back to?
I have been back because the company I worked for, Mergenthaler, part of the company was in Frankfurt, Germany. And when I built the machine to make funds, when the machine was finished, they come here, they say they need one too. So I built one for them. And I went there, then they call me, they say, would you mind coming over and supervising the installation? I said, it's okay. So I rented 50 hertz equipment to duplicate European power. And when it was all working, I sent it over, and then I came there, and
So you went to Germany at that
Yes.
time. Have you ever been back to any of the locations where you were once housed in a concentration camp?
No, I had no interest in it.
That's perfectly understandable.
I was there.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I never hid it. And it happened to me, but it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And the fact that, as I said, that we were reunited as a family helped.
Yeah. You have a very strong will. You have a very strong ability to move past things, it seems like. Because you've experienced some of the darkest moments in human history.
Yes, I did.
And yet you just say, I was there, I survived, and here I am, kind of a thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very commendable.
Look, I came here, well, maybe because my wife was American. All the women I was involved with were American. So I blended into the American life very easily. I always made good money, so I had no money problems.
Yeah, no, you've had, like you said, you had a life that was once this, and now you've built this whole new life. And,
Yeah.
And now you're 97 years old. You've got amazing memory to recall these things, and it's so very nice to meet you. What's your impression of Western Massachusetts now that you live here?
There's not much difference from Long Island.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
The only thing I miss is the ocean.
Yeah. We don't.
Like I asked my daughter, what does she miss when living in Albany? She says Jones Beach.
Yeah. It's too far from the ocean. I feel that same way. Well, we got the river over here, so that's the best we can do for you.
My windows overlook the river,
Okay,
so
yeah.
it's okay.
So we should. You're over here at the Ludlow Mills that you're living in here. Do you like the accommodations here?
Yeah, I have. Well, Chuck has seen my apartment. It's a perfect.
Yeah. There's a lot of history in these buildings right here.
I know.
Yeah, this is a Ludlow Manufacturing Company. They used to make the jute. They had the
Well,
contract.
then DuPont came out with a cheaper and better.
Yep.
So the jute became unnecessary.
That's exactly right. But we had a good run. We had about a 10-year run there where we were running.
Oh, that's all?
Well, it went for a long, long time, but there was about 10 years when this company had the contract with the United States Post Office, and they produced all the jute for the entire country.
What does the post office have to do with jute?
They used to tie all the packages up. Yeah, and I'm going back to the 1910s, turn of the century around there. Yeah, so the last component of the Ludlow Manufacturing Company probably just moved out of here around 2004 or something like that. So, but it's a very historic building.
Did you know that?
Chuck knows everything. We've got Chuck Cabana off screen over here. So, but Mr. Rodstein, it was so very nice to meet you. I appreciate
Nice to meet you too.
taking time to do this.
I feel it's necessary, and it's very necessary to warn people that if they don't watch out, that we may be a repeat of Germany in the 30s.
Yeah, that's with everything that's going on. I mean, certainly don't want to get political or anything like that.
It's
I'd like to kind of keep it, but
I have no problem getting political.
yeah. But I mean, everything that's taking place with just what in Gaza, hopefully the ceasefire happens.
I think it could never be a ceasefire.
Yeah, you feel that way, really? Yeah, it's always thousands and thousands of years of just strife.
It's not thousands of years.
No?
No.
Going back between the Israeli-Palestinian, I'm just saying that region over there, it seems like
They
there's been
lived
some kind of...
together very nicely until after the mandate.
Yeah. Okay, we're not going to fix those problems here in Ludlow, Massachusetts.
No, we are not.
But well, thank you very much. It was very, very nice to meet you. I'm glad to see you and your family. Seem like you've got a good thing going over here.
Yeah, no complaints.
Good, very good. Well, that's going to do it for this week's show. Hope you enjoyed that. Like I said at the top of the show, I'm going to have a link down below to the full interview that Mr. Rodstein did when he was at the National Holocaust Museum. And I think that interview went on for about 2 hours. That
was like they were shooting a movie.
Yeah. It was. I watched a little bit of it just to kind of get a little background on you. But take a look at that if you're interested.
My mother also interviewed, but for some reason, her interview, you have to apply and get permission. I don't know why. And
interesting. Yeah. Okay. There's a lot there, but living history for what this man has been through. So if you want to see past episodes, I do have a YouTube channel. It's called Riverwalk Talk with Chip Harrington. You can like and subscribe there. I've got I think right now I'm up to around 40 different shows that we've done. We talk about a lot of local stuff, but I love getting into, talking to people who have just a lot of lived experience as well too. But this is primarily seen on Facebook and Instagram. But if you go to YouTube, give it a like and make a comment. Love to hear what you guys have to say. So that's going to do it. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you.